Welcome back to the Blissful Biz podcast. I'm so happy you're here. Today, I'm talking to Carys Andersson. She's a life coach, a mom, the founder of the EFT tapping app Vybly, and the host of the Probably Not Life-Changing podcast. Carys has such a fascinating story. She was a professional dancer for 10 years, overcame struggles with low self-esteem and body image, and channeled all of that into building a thriving fitness business. Her podcast was even in the top 10 in the UK health and fitness charts. But as you'll hear, all that success came with a cost. She eventually hit major burnout. And her path back wasn't about more hustle. It was about slowing down, getting comfortable with feeling lost, and finding her most authentic self again. I actually met Carys here in Mallorca at a business lunch, and we connected right away. She was so open about her journey, and I knew instantly I needed to have her on the podcast to share her story with you. In our conversation, we talk about building a business that feels truly aligned, why tapping can be such a transformative tool, and how to redefine success on your own terms. Let's dive in. I'm Susanne Reicher, digital marketing expert with over 20 years of experience, turned yoga teacher, turned six-figure online business owner. 10 years ago, I flew to Bali for a yoga teacher training, fell in love with the island, and decided to build an online business so I could live there. Can't be that hard, right? That decision launched me into an adventure bigger than I'd ever imagined. Over the last 8 years, I've guided over 1,000 yoga teachers and hard-led coaches how to launch and sell their digital offers, build their brand and websites, and build a profitable online business. In this podcast, I share real proven strategies and the exact steps that work. Whether you're just starting out or ready to scale, we'll dive into everything from creating offers your students can't resist to making digital marketing work for you. If you're ready to build a business that brings both freedom and success, you are in the right place. Carys, welcome to the Blissful Biz podcast. I'm so excited to have you.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here. And it's funny that we're doing this on video because we've just found out we live not that far from each other at all.
We knew we live both close to Poyensa because we met here.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's how we met. I live in Mallorca, Poyensa. I went to this business lunch, I think, or something. And Carys was there, and she has the most amazing story. I was like, okay, she's not really a really nice person. So I was like, okay, let's hang out. But also I thought I have to bring her here on the podcast. Yeah, so let's dive right in. Why don't you introduce yourself and share a little bit about your story, and then I'm probably going to ask you questions to dive in deeper.
Okay, amazing. So my name's Carys. I always say it rhymes with Paris. Nice and easy for people to remember. And I live here in Poyensa. I moved here in October. I was thinking how far back I'll take you. For many years, I was a professional dancer. So I traveled the world dancing. My husband's a singer, so we traveled together and did shows, and that was my life. And then when I came to Mallorca in 2017, I sort of hung up my dancing shoes and was like, I'm going to start a business. And I had no idea what I was doing, like absolutely no idea. And I started a fitness membership, which had yoga and meditation in as well. And if I think back now, I launched and I had a goal of like, I'm going to launch to 100 people. And I've got 10 people on my first launch, which now I'd be like cheering myself on. But at the time I was just like, oh my God, what am I doing? I've moved to a new country and I launched this business. But anyway, eventually the fitness business grew I like tweaked it as I'd actually learned more about business. And luckily I was like positioned in 2020 to already deliver home workouts in a really efficient way, and they were really fun and people really liked them. So when it was lockdown, it was tricky for a lot of people, but for me, my business boomed. I had my first baby at that point, and I sort of had her strapped on me, and I was doing workouts and stuff, and I created my signature programs, and yeah, it did really well. We got to 100 members on those programs. The business was booming. My podcast was top 10. It was featured in magazines. It was fab. And then that was going for a while. And eventually, with my second baby, I also started life coaching and bringing in different coaching courses that were going to help people who were on the fitness, like working with their mindset. I had my second baby, and I started doing more coaching with weight loss mindset rather than just fitness. Felt way more aligned for me to help people with the root cause of like why they were feeling that it was so difficult for them. So that was an interesting little twist and turn. But then I hit a burnout after I had a second baby, and I was working so hard. I was enjoying my business so much, but I was really in this hustle, go, push. Like each month I've got to make more money than the month before and grow my community, keep growing. And essentially, when I talk about my burnout, it was not just one singular thing. There was like a lot of factors that came into play with that. But yeah, we can go into more detail about that if you want to. But yeah, I hit a burnout. And then the past 2 years has actually been bringing myself back from that burnout, losing myself, finding myself again, healing, growing, resting, and building business up in a way that feels really authentic and really good, so that I won't burn out again in the future and I won't make the same mistake twice. But yeah, that's sort of like in a nutshell, my little story.
Thank you. I love it. I think it's amazing that you've already had that success.
Yeah.
And does it feel like that's going to be easier to get there again? Or does it feel like still like a mountain you're climbing right now?
I feel like, so a couple of things are happening at the moment. So I love inquiring about how I'm feeling and working through how I feel. And I think at the moment, 2 things are happening. I have obviously the proof of my success. I'm like, okay, I can do it again because I've done it before. But I also keep reminiscing about the good times when I was making so much money, and I keep looking back on it, and I have to keep switching into it's going to be even better as the new thing builds and grows, and not like I have to go back to the way I did it before, and sort of untangling the way that I got my success before. Doesn't mean that it has to be like that this time, and not to look back with rose tinted glasses as well and be like, oh, it was so good, because it was really hard. Like the money was good. The community was great. I loved what I was doing. I loved my people, but I forget there were really hard times in that too. So when I hit a hard time now, I'm like, I've been there before, so, and then the other thing is, in the last 5 years, things have changed so much online. Like there's more people than ever before online. I think just things in general, marketing and messaging and the different platforms you can use and people's spending habits, and so much has changed that it's like a new adventure starting all over again. I think I would be silly to think, I'll do it exactly how I did it before and it will work exactly the same, because we're just in a completely different landscape now. So I do feel like I'm starting from scratch. And the lessons learned in terms of like business, like messaging, marketing, like all the hard skills, they've actually evolved as well. So it's kind of just learning and playing and testing. And of course, you take all your experience with you. But yeah, it feels like a new, scary, from scratch adventure. But I'm lucky enough to have some of my audience from before, which will transfer into my new thing that I'm doing. But also not. Like a lot of people who were here for the fitness are not here for the new things I'm doing. And that's to be okay with that and not be like, I'm going to create something for you. Don't worry, I'll create something for you as well. Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot. We haven't heard anything yet about your new business. So let's talk about that. So people can like,
yeah,
okay, that's happening now. Yeah, please tell us more about what you're doing now.
So basically, when I was teaching fitness and I started getting clients who were really struggling to lose weight, originally it was just like fitness people who wanted to come and work out, but it went into the weight loss world. And there you get a couple of different types of people. Some people who just like, I just need to lose a little bit, tone up type of people, or people who've struggled to lose weight their whole life. And I really felt drawn, I'm the helper. And I felt drawn to the people who were really struggling just to make life harder for myself. And I was looking for tools to really help people quickly to change their mindset and their limiting beliefs. Because we can talk a lot about limiting beliefs. We can do a lot of journaling about limiting beliefs. We can become very aware of them. But to actually reprogram the brain, there's a few tools which really work. And some of them are a bit long. It's a long journey or temporary, or you have to really win people over to come on like a breathwork journey with you. Or I did frequency imprinting, which is like deep inner meditation, and it sounds a bit woo-woo to people, etc. So I was looking for more tools to help people reprogram basically their thought patterns and their behaviors and the way that they do things. And I'd heard about EFT tapping a few times before, and I'd sort of it had come into my world, but I hadn't gone deep into it. So I started studying EFT tapping. I got my qualification.
Can you tell us more about what that is? Not everybody
Yeah.
might know what
Yeah.
EFT tapping is.
Absolutely. So EFT tapping, EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Technique. And tapping is sort of the colloquial term we use because you are tapping on acupressure points on your face and your upper body and your hand. And basically you're using traditional Chinese medicine, the knowledge of these acupressure points and the meridian energy pathways through the body, combined with modern psychology and a way of shifting through your emotions and reprogramming your neural pathways, your thought processes. At the same time, we're regulating your nervous system, which we know if we can regulate our nervous system and we can reprogram our brain, like that's kind of all we need, really. And so, yeah, EFT tapping, it goes through these certain points on your body, and you repeat phrases in a certain way, and you start with compassion for the emotion you're feeling, which I love about tapping. So before I met tapping, I was in the mindset world, right? I came from fitness, mindset, and it's that mindset for fitness. That's sort of like, how can I make myself get up earlier in the morning? How can I make myself go for a workout? I should be eating better. It's that mindset of like, show up as the best version of you every day. And it's very like masculine energy.
I think it's also this you're never enough energy.
You're never enough. You're never good enough.
Never doing enough.
No.
You're never thin enough. You're never fit enough. You're never enough.
You're never doing your habits good enough or for a long enough streak, or someone's meal looks healthier than yours. And it's all this sort of ego-driven work. And I think a lot of people come into mindset work and then more deeper work. They come in through that gate. It's like a natural progression. But I really believe that, say there's 10 ingredients that led to my burnout, I believe that was one of them. That overriding of what you're actually feeling because you need to prove something. And because I was running a fitness company, I needed to prove that my habits were the best and my abs were the best and my program is the best. And what I love about EFT tapping is we actually give ourselves space and compassion for the emotion that we're feeling. So each session will start with a phrase like, even though I'm feeling tired today, I accept that and I love myself anyway. Or even though I'm feeling angry and I don't know why, I forgive myself and I love myself anyway. So we really start with allowing yourself to feel the emotion. And I think that is what really cool to me, because after years of pressing it down, because #positive thinking, good vibes only, I'd never let any of it out. So I'd let it all out in one sort of huge explosion of my life. And that, coupled with the regulation of your nervous system, which I thought I was doing before. I thought exercise was regulating my nervous system. I thought my 5-minute meditation was regulating my nervous system. It wasn't, because when you really feel regulated, you feel clear, grounded, calm, and you allow yourself to feel all your emotions because you feel safe to feel all your emotions in a regulated nervous system. That just feels like a big warm hug. That feels like it's all right to be you. And I love that about EFT tapping. And I think we need more of that. That's why I feel so passionate about it. My company I'm building now, in the ethos of the company, is like anti-toxic positivity, anti-BS personal development, because I think it's damaging for people. You know, this whole F your feelings and stick to the plan and all that kind of hustle bro mindset work. I think it's really damaging. And maybe it works for some people and it works for a short period of time and it gives you a dopamine hit. But your body will soon let you know that it's not right. Okay. So yeah, with EFT tapping, we start the session that way and I love it so much. And then we really bring up the energy of the emotion. So it can be a little bit uncomfortable in the first minute or two, depending how long your session is, because we want to bring that anger. Take anger, for example. You want to bring it to the surface. Where do you feel it in the body? Like, I feel it in my gut. I feel it like tension in my jaw. And then like, why am I angry? And then once you start to bring it up, you can start to link to where it comes from. So it might come to something from your past. It might be the way that your parents always reacted to things. So they start to discover a bit and they start to free up the energy. So as you're tapping on these points around this like meridian highway of energy around your body, you unblock it. And it's really cool because they've done studies where they've injected dye into the system where they believe that meridian energy is. And you probably know about this. And you can literally see it unblock, shift, move, which is fascinating to me. I love all the science behind it. So yeah, we unblock the energy. And then when you start to feel it shift, it starts to feel like that tension's releasing. You start to literally feel yourself shift. Then what I like to do is inquire if you're like ready to change how you feel and ready to change your mindset on this. And I start to use this kind of phrase like, wouldn't it be cool if I could? Or I feel like it's possible for me to shift. Or we start to just gently push and gently inquire of whether we're ready to change. And I like that because if you take affirmations, for example, I think they're like a slap around the face. Be happy. You know, I am happy today. I am successful. It's like, ah. And if you don't feel successful that day, your body's going to go, wee, wee, wee. You're not successful. And then you start actually affirming the opposite. But with this, it's like, okay, I'm feeling a lack of self-belief today, but I love myself anyway. And then we're coming like, wow, this feeling of lack of self-belief, lack of confidence. And you start to bring it to the surface. And then we're like, wouldn't it be nice if I actually believed in myself? Yeah. How cool would it be to actually believe in myself? When we start to like, oh, can I shift? Can I shift? And then we shift into, I fully believe in myself, or I completely release this anger and I feel calm and grounded. And that process is really important. It is really important to actually go through the process. And what I love about EFT tapping is because we are tapping on these acupressure points, you could do that process in your journal, for example, right? But because you are tapping, you're telling your nervous system, first of all, it's safe to feel those initial feelings. It's safe to have those emotions. And then it's safe to shift. And then it's safe to be the new way. And you're training your nervous system to have capacity to be however it is you want to be by the end of the session, right? And at the same time, you're actually reprogramming the neural pathways in your brain. You're through neuroplasticity, you're actually remolding the way you think. And so later on, when you feel angry again, because you will, because you should, because you're a human, you will more quickly come down out of your fight or flight into your rest and digest, and then be able to make a good decision or the right action that you actually want to take, for example. So it really has a knock-on effect like that. So yeah, I feel so passionate that broad statement, but I feel like everybody needs a tool like this. And yeah, maybe it's not the tool for everybody. Some people don't resonate with tapping. That's fine. not here to shove it down anyone's throat, but I really want to bring this to as many people as possible. So they've got this tool literally at their fingertips to help regulate, reprogram. I think it's fascinating.
Yes. So you're building an app.
Yes. I was probably supposed to get to that point. Yeah. So with the like wanting to bring it to everybody, I told you I'm like a helper. That's my archetype, right? I could have wrapped this up in an expensive course or something, but I wanted to build a platform that feels really accessible. I wanted to design my sessions in a way that feels really accessible to almost like the everyday person, as well as the yogi, the person who's been doing mindset work for years, to not feel like it's like a hierarchy of like, you need to be more spiritual to come and join us or whatever. It's non-woo-woo, it's non-wanky, I say. It's very like accessible and tangible. So we're building an app where it makes it really easy for people to open up the app and make tapping part of their daily habit. So we do that in a few ways. I've made sessions which really relate to everyday life, like tapping before a meeting, or there's a whole entrepreneurial section of like tapping for visibility, or tapping for there's lots of money mindset stuff, or when you want to be more productive or more focused. So lots of really sessions that you can apply into your life. And like for mums as well, I'm a mum. So like when you get back off the school run and you're like, what the hell was that? That was insane. And I am stressed out, tapping for after the school run, or tapping for after you've lost your temper with your kids. It's also like relationships, and then things like releasing anxiety, releasing anger, releasing resentment. And as well, like tapping for motivation for workouts, motivation to open my laptop today, like all the things that you struggle with on a day-to-day. I'm building up a library of sessions that feel really to pinpoint that. All the sessions are under 10 minutes as well, because I feel like tapping can work really quick. You can, of course, do like a real deeper dive in an hour session, but you also can get benefits in just 10 minutes. So all the sessions are under 10 minutes. And then I have mini 3-minute sessions even, which are called vibe ups, where we don't go through like the negative emotion first, but we're just like, let's boost your energy for today. Let's boost your motivation. Let's boost your productivity, for example. And then little card pull. So I've got a little card deck with really empowering quotes. And then you tap, you get a card for the day and a 1-minute tapping to go along with the quote to really like get it into your body, regulate your nervous system. And yes, I really tried to find all these little ways to help people get it into their daily habit, because there's lots of benefits to tapping long term as well, like, and tapping regularly, as well as, the kind of benefit you can get in the moment.
It sounds so amazing. You need a beta tester. I'm here.
Yes, we are actually going to do a test round really soon. So yeah, I'd love that.
No, I love it. So how did it work for your clients, for your weight loss clients?
Yeah, I think it was since then, so that was maybe 2 years ago, me as well, I have gone even deeper into improving as a practitioner. So with the weight loss clients back then, I feel like it was new for both of us, but it was really eye-opening for them to see that the weight loss wasn't to do, or the weight gain, or the holding on to the weight wasn't actually to do with eating too much and just not being, they feel this guilt about just not being able to stick to something long enough.
Yeah.
And so we would really dive into, where is that coming from? Why are you not able to stick to it? So it always ended up going into much deeper healing work, But yeah, it's fascinating how it can work and how it can reprogram. You get messages from people who are like, I don't even think about eating that type of way anymore. Like, it's like you change in a way that feels like that came out of the blue. I don't know why I changed that way. Like, I can't see how that happened. And that's because we did the tapping like months before,
Quick pause, just a short interruption to share something I think you're going to love. If you've been dreaming of building an online business that gives you more freedom, more time freedom, more location freedom, and more ease in your day-to-day, I have something special for you. It's my free on-demand training called How to Create and Launch Your Signature Online Program and Create Consistent 5K months and beyond. Inside this 50-minute masterclass, I'm walking you step by step through the exact framework I use to build a sustainable six-figure business from my online programs. And honestly, I think this is one of the best masterclasses I've ever put together. People are already raving about how valuable and eye-opening it is. And I keep hearing how much clarity it's given them to finally move forward with confidence. This isn't about chasing trends or working harder. It's about designing a business that actually supports your life with aligned offers, simple marketing strategies, and a system that helps you earn consistently so you can focus on the work you love. Whether you're still figuring out what to teach, you've launched something that didn't sell the way you hoped, or you're simply craving a clearer path forward to build your online business, this masterclass will show you exactly what's working right now and how you can create steady income doing work that feels meaningful. And truly, if you've been listening to this podcast and wondering, how do I actually put all of this into action? This is the best place to start. You can save your spot and watch it right away for free at susannereiker.com/masterclass. That's SUSANNERIKER.com/masterclass. I'd love to see you inside and help you build something that feels sustainable and aligned. All right, let's get back to today's episode. No, it sounds so fascinating. And I love that idea of doing like 10 minutes a day or something, because I think there are also studies, it adds up and it's so much more, even with fitness, right? If you just do a 1-2 hour long session a week, it's not the same as doing like 20 minutes every day.
100%. And
I
I feel
was
like
learning languages, like I use Bubble to learn Spanish, and just those 10-15 minutes a day when I'm consistent, which is obviously the struggle.
yeah, because what you're doing is you're priming your brain then to think in that way also for the rest of the day. So with language, for example, if doing it every day is not only doing it in the moment, but you're priming your brain to, look around and read some Spanish and practice some Spanish each day. And the same with working out, right? You're priming your brain to then maybe take the stairs instead of the elevator, or eat something more nourishing. And that's the benefit. And I think with the tapping, I actually see it like it's like a workout, but for your nervous system and your mind. Because also the cool thing is I'm doing the heavy lifting for you. You just have to show up and copy me, which is the same like with my workout videos, right? I always worked out alongside the client. So I recorded full length workouts, which is a lot more effort than, for example, just clipping clips in and, pasting them together or having it in an app where you click on the exercises. But I recognize that people really need that motivation to like come and work out with their bestie, and that really helped them stick to it. And I'm like sweating along with them, and it's hard and stuff. And so I'm tapping along with you. I'm doing the heavy lifting for you. You don't have to think much, really. You just have to show up and then feel the emotion shift. And I think that there's a much lower barrier to actually showing up and doing it than like, okay, I need to sit down with a journal with an empty page and I need to figure this out, or I need to sit on my meditation cushion. And I find it very hard to meditate, and to get the benefits of meditation, you have to be quite good at meditating. But I feel like with tapping, you don't even have to be good at it. You just have to show up, right?
How does it feel different? So first, like you're like your first business, your fitness business. I mean, after your dancing career, your fitness business, you were so successful. And first, a lot of people don't recognize that you can burn out from doing things you love.
Yeah, and
but also now it looks like you're building a different business. It's still in the wellness sphere, right? But it feels different. What made you decide to create an app and to use this different approach, basically, to impact people?
Yeah, and without having that initial business, I might have not have gone down this route. But also this route has always been calling to me, but it's always been the harder route. So I've done things the easier and quicker way to make money in the past. But this has been like having an app has always been on my mind. At the beginning, it was a membership before we could do apps, right? But then I came into a model that made me more money, and it was more like the sensible business approach. But this has always been calling to me to have a larger audience. But so you said, you can burn out from doing things you love. I loved fitness. But what I actually didn't love that I fell into with that business was the marketing of fitness to people who want to lose weight. And it never felt authentic to me to pain point marketing on women who are like desperate to change their body because they're deeply unhappy. And then fitness businesses profit off of that. And I strongly felt if I have to show up one more day and talk about calories, macros, squats, hip push-ups, I don't want to do that for the next 10 years of my life. So the business was sparked from an initial love of getting strong and exercising and fitness, but it took its path into the more weight loss sphere. And, I was featured in a magazine. I used to do workouts for the magazine, and it would be under the headline of like, tone your bingo wings or something. And I wouldn't, write off on that. I wouldn't have signed off on that. But that's my face would be next to that. And it never felt authentic to me. And so when I was in the magazines and stuff, I was never shouting it from the rooftops and, sharing it everywhere because I felt almost like a bit icky about the whole thing. And that was my whole business. And that was, I said like out of the 10 ingredients that led to my burnout, that was another one. I was showing up as this like shiny, motivating, like smiley, my dance persona led into my fitness persona. It was a show kind of thing. And I think that the inauthenticity of like, I really wanted to help people on a deeper level, but my audience were people who wanted a 6-week body transformation. And that friction was really tricky to shift my business through, right? And I think it needed everything to sort of crumble and then build something new up to really, and to give myself the time to be lost, give myself the time to find myself and feel like, what do I actually want to create? What do I want to bring to the world that I will be able to do for the next 10 years and show and get up each morning and want to do it? So I think that's the difference. Now I feel really lit up from the work I'm doing, which I felt in the beginning with the fitness, right? But so it feels really good. And yesterday, actually, I went to the studio to just try and see if I wanted to film any more workouts again. I was like, just going to go. I'm not going to tell anyone I'm going. I set up the studio. I filmed a session because I had this kind of idea for some more like somatic type workouts that could go into the app. And it was a no. It was like, nah, I feel it in my body. I'm very intuitive now of like how I feel because I don't want to push something that's inauthentic again. So I actually just tried it. I listened and I was like, nah. And that feels like a huge relief because I had this questioning energy for months now of like, am I going to do workouts again? Is it going to look differently? And, maybe in a couple of years, I'll come back to it. I don't know. But it feels really nice to do business from this place, to build something from this place. And I kind of feel like I want to prove almost that successful businesses can be built this way. You don't have to give up your sort of, your morals or your...
Oh my God, I love this. This is my approach also, how I teach my students. There's, like, I don't know how I came up with the name Blissful Biz back in 2017 or something. But that's truly, truly what I want to create and what I want to help.
And it's so important because in the beginning, people, when you start a business, you just want to make money and you see other people making money. You're like, I just want to do that too, because then I'll be successful. But actually, when you're in the day-to-day of it, you almost wish you could go back and be like, oh, I wish I just built this from the foundations and use the strategies and the structures and the tools and all the hard skills you need, but do it from a place of like heart and integrity and
and this is like, yes, you need the strategies, and yes, you need to have offers that make you
of course.
money to have that in place, but you don't need to use like that formal marketing and fake urgencies, and don't use timers when you work with people who have health issues and increase their anxiety.
Yeah. And I feel that, coming back to what feels right for you is so important. Even when you have a business coach or you're in a membership or something, just have discernment and feel like, okay, here's the advice laid out. Now, what resonates with me and what feels good for me, and having that self-trust to actually do that, that's quite special. And sometimes that takes a bit of building up and a bit of stumbling and practicing it the wrong way. But I've had many business coaches over the years, and it's always never felt right, because maybe in the first place I chose them for the wrong reason. I think that's really important, to choose something that resonates with you and not just for the results they're, saying they're going to get you. And then also filtering their good advice through your own system and bringing it back to you. And I think that self-trust and that self-confidence does take time to build. But it's really important. And honestly, knowing my human design, do you work in human design at all?
No.
Oh, it's fascinating. You need to have someone on for human design.
I know it can be really helpful for people, but
not your thing.
From my point of view, there's just no science behind it.
Yeah. And this is the weird thing, because
I know it can be still helpful, right? So, because it's just a tool basically to help you reflect and get to know yourself better.
Yeah, it's getting to know yourself, and you can do it without knowing your human design. You can, and it's having confidence in.
Yeah, I do a lot of inner voice work. I find that really fascinating. And actually, right now, I don't work with a business coach. I'm not in a mastermind or anything, but I love using ChatGPT to strategize and to reflect. And but I agree that you need to hone your confidence in listening to your inner voice.
Listening to your inner voice, and
to recognize when it's fear and when it's intuition, and if it's expanding or restricting, and that awareness.
100%. I'm like obsessed with this conversation, because another ingredient to my burnout was everything done through fear of losing everything. And ego of like, I was at the time the sole earner in my family. I was like, I need to provide for my family. And like, and the fear of like, what if I don't make more money this month than last month? What if I have a low month? The fear, the push, and that can only drive you for a certain amount of time. That's going to end in burnout. I think it's a really important conversation to have. And with the human design, I'm such a science gal. That's why I love EFT tapping, because you can read all the studies done. Unfortunately, there needs to be a bit more funding in it. So we need like bigger studies done, but it's there. The results are there. Like, it's so cool. And I love it so much. And with human design, for me, it was just more like, holy shit, this is giving me permission to be me, which you can do without human design. You can, in self-inquiry, you can figure out who you are and what you like, what you don't like, the ways that you like doing things, and just give yourself permission to do things your way, and know that your magic is in doing things your way. And even we talk about learning Spanish, for example, I figured out recently, because I'm very slow on learning my Spanish, I figured out I don't like to be given like a set of instructions and to follow it in a very linear way. That's not my design. That's not how I like to do things. I find that really, really difficult. I want to rebel. Like, I can't follow a recipe. I can't put flat pack furniture together. I'm like, over here, where's my energy? Ooh, down on a like, that's me. So I've started, and it's never occurred to me before to apply this to learning Spanish, but I've started to apply that to learning Spanish, and I'm having so much fun. Because I'm like, okay, I want to know how to say this. So I'll figure it out. And then I'll be like on a tangent then onto, oh, what's the grammar there? Let me learn about that grammar. And, oh, I didn't know that word. So let me learn about the word. And then that's helping me. So someone else, that's an absolute nightmare. Someone else needs a folder and it needs to be color coded and we need to do week by week. And that's you and that's the way you should do it. But me, I should honor the way I do things. And that's where my magic comes from. That's where I progress. That's where my best energy is. And that's what I'm doing now with my business. And it feels so good.
I'm really excited about it. So when is it coming out?
That's a brilliant question because it's been coming out for the last few months, but, you know, it's had like little technical, you know, things that we needed to iron out to get it really. I'm not here to put out a perfect product. It's the first product that will be tweaked as we go.
Yeah, it's like in software, it's like in the beta and...
Yeah, but I need it to be good enough that people are going to use it and share it with their friends. So it's taken a little bit longer because also I did this all on a bootstrapped shoestring budget, right? Because in the past, I invested a lot of money into my business that also causes anxiety. So I was like, I want to do this in a way that I can go at a good pace and not feel like I need to go make money now. Yeah, it's taken a little bit longer than I initially anticipated, but this summer, we're so close to being, we need someone to come help us do this last little bit. And then we're close to just testing it and then launching it. So this summer and by September, we should be a go-go.
But you have a wait list, right? So we're going to link to that in the show notes and to your Instagram so people can follow this journey and check it out, which I tell you, you have to do.
Yeah, and I do on my Instagram and on my TikTok. If you come and comment any like limiting beliefs that you're stuck with or any emotions that you're stuck with, at the moment, I'm doing like just personalized tapping sessions and just putting them up on my Instagram and on my TikTok because often they resonate with the collective. We're all dealing with the same limiting beliefs quite often, right?
Yes. I love that about being an entrepreneur. You know, like you learn so much about yourself.
It's the biggest personal development journey you will ever go on because you have to push yourself out of your comfort zone and learn things about yourself every single day. That and motherhood, in my opinion.
Yeah. For 100%. I thought like when I started, I don't have any mindset issues. Thank you very much. Just tell me what to do.
Yeah, I just wanted to
obviously that was so far from the truth. And then you just learn and learn and learn and learn.
I mean, it's the journey. Like you're never done either. When I first started, I can remember, you know, I love getting a good journal and just writing out like, I am successful. I make 6 figures. I do this. And just being like, okay, that's that then. But that will work now. But no, unfortunately not.
but it's this beautiful road of self-discovery as well.
Yeah, it's cool. It's not for the faint-hearted. That's cool.
So I've definitely, I've tried tapping in the past, but very inconsistent. But it's really inspiring me to look
we should do a session.
Into it.
I'll do a session with you if you want. Yeah.
Love that. Definitely going to share that.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be amazing. Can't really wait to see it out. Does it have a name already?
Yeah, Vybly.
Vybly. How do you spell that?
Vybly.
That's such a cool name.
Yeah, well, my original name was, this is just the way it works, right? Original name was just Vibe Up and it was taken. Obviously, it's quite generic. And I was like, no, I'd really married myself to this name. And then I brainstormed for 48 hours and then came up with Vybly. And it was not, no one's got it in that spelling. And because now everything's taken. It's it's impossible to find something original. So I actually found something original, which is very cool. And I think it really sums it up because Vibe Up actually felt a little bit dismissive of the original feeling or
positive thinking pressure
it's a bit
again,
toxic
a little
positivity
bit
in itself. So it was perfect to shift out of that into Vybly because it's a bit softer.
Yeah.
But still exciting and fun. I have big plans for the app and for marketing, and everything is revolved around fun and travel and meeting people face to face. Because my last business, I hid behind a laptop a lot. So,
I think there's a follow-up podcast episode coming, maybe in 6 months or 12 months, where we talk about your marketing and how you made it a success.
Think we can do that. To be did my intuitive like marketing work, or should I have followed the strategies after all? I'm making my own strategies. I'm doing things the way I want to do it, of course, with all I'm filtering it through the knowledge of having a business for 7 years, right? So it's not uninformed, but I just want to do things a little bit differently, like on my marketing as well as to do podcasts, right? I love to chat and connect. How fun.
No, and you're so good at it. It really shines through your passion for this project.
I have a podcast
and
too.
for
If anybody likes the sound of my voice, you can search the Probably Not Life-Changing podcast. Yeah, we've started that and it's been the most fun.
I love it. So I'll add the links to the show notes.
Thank
you so much for
it's
being
been great.
here,
Thank
Carys,
you.
for taking the time. And let's catch up soon.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of the Blissful Biz podcast. If you found this helpful, I'd love it if you hit subscribe and left a review on Apple Podcasts. It helps other yoga teachers and coaches find these strategies too, and it would mean the world to me. It really makes a difference. And if you're ready to take the next step, head over to my website, susannereiker.com, where you'll find my free resources, latest blog posts, and all the ways we can work together to grow your online business. Until next week, keep building your blissful biz.